Can you hear me, Shabnam?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
হ্যাঁ
ভালো আছেন স্যার?
হ্যাঁ, ভালো আছি ভালো আছি। তোমাদের সব খবর ভালো তো?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ভালো।
ওকে। সুদীপ্তা জয়েন করেছে।
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Shabnam Di.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. স্যার ভালো আছেন আপনি?
কে আমি আমাকে বলছো? হ্যাঁ ভালো
হ্যাঁ
আছি
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
ভালো আছি। তোমার সব খবর ভালো তো?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ভালো আছি ভালো আছি।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
গুড আফটারনুন স্যার, গুড আফটারনুন সবাইকে।
ওকে, গুড আফটারনুন।
Good afternoon.
হ্যালো,
Hello.
আমি জয়েন করেছি বিএন চ্যাটার্জি।
Okay,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir.
Welcome.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
গুড আফটারনুন।
Good afternoon, sir.
হ্যালো,
হ্যালো স্যার।
দেরি হবে কি? হ্যাঁ,
না স্যার, এই এক্ষুনি শুরু হবার কথা 1:30টার সময়। আমি একবার
না
বলরামের সাথে একবার কথা বলে নিই। We are waiting for 2 to 3 minutes as many participants are joining right now, so we'll be starting in a while. Sir, please just wait for 2 to 3 minutes. We'll be starting.
ওকে।
We resume in only 1 minute. Please wait, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I, Balaram Ghoshal, Assistant Professor in the Department of Information Technology, on behalf of BP Poddar Institute of Management and Technology, welcome you all to the Global Web Workshop on Recent Trends in IoT with Cloud, RTIC 2020. It is our privilege and honor to welcome our Principal, Professor Dr. Sutapa Mukherjee, our Registrar, Dr. Shubhashish Pradhan, our respected Professor B.N. Chatterjee, Sir, our Head of the Department, Dr. Shabnam Sengupta, and respected Professor Deepankar Sarkar in RTIC 2020. We are overwhelmed by the response to this workshop in a very short period of time. We have a total of 550 participants from around 15 states throughout India. We structured this workshop with industry perspective in a blend with academic research. We have speakers from international industry and premier academic institutes in India. All this learning will converge to a live hands-on session and live projects. Now, I am requesting our HOD Madam Dr. Shabnam Sengupta to formally initiate the program. Thank you all.
Thank you, Balaram. Good afternoon, everyone present. Professor B.N. Chatterjee, Professor Deepankar Sarkar, our registrar, Dr. Shubhashish Pradhan, my dear colleagues, students, and all other participants, a very good afternoon to all of you. Our principal ma'am, Dr. Sutapa Mukherjee, will join after we start the sessions. On behalf of Department of Information Technology, BP Poddar Institute of Management and Technology, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all at the 5-day Global Web Workshop on recent trends in IoT with cloud. I will congratulate and thank the faculty members of Department of Information Technology for organizing this event within a very small time. Congratulations to Mr. Balaram Ghoshal, Ashwin Kumar Panta, and Shobhasati Chakraborty for coordinating and taking initiative for organizing this webinar. Thanks to all the other faculty members of the department for actively participating in this webinar. Thanks to all the participants, we have received, as mentioned by Balaram, that we have received an overwhelming response as far as participation is concerned. And I am also going to extend my heartfelt thanks to the speakers who have agreed to devote their time during this webinar amidst their very busy schedule. And before we start, I would like to request our former Dean Academics, our advisor, Professor B.N. Chatterjee, to say a few words. Sir, please.
Dear Professor Shabnam Sengupta, Professor Dipankar Sarkar, other colleagues of BP Poddar Institute of Management and Technology, respected speakers for this workshop, dear students and dear participants, it's a great honor for me to inaugurate this web workshop on a very important topic, IoT with cloud. The Department of Information Technology of BPPIMT is organizing this workshop. They have taken a very short time and they have arranged this workshop with the help of the faculty member of BPPIMT, faculty member of other institutes, and several industry experts, as well as alumni of our institute, BPPIMT, and our student members. So it is a great effort, and I congratulate the Department of Information Technology for this very good, excellent academic effort. You know, IoT has become a very integral part of almost all systems. In future, there will be growth, and the growth will be in a different form. The recent COVID-19 has given impetus to use this, but in a different form from what we were thinking earlier. And I feel that this is a great opportunity for all the IT, I should not say use the word expert, or those who are working in IT. This is a great opportunity to utilize this, because IoT is going to stay for years, maybe 10, 15, 20, unless something new comes. I am not saying that new will not come, because electronics and information technology is developing in such a way that if we hear something new after 4 or 5 years, we should not be surprised, because 10 to 12 years back, no one was knowing IoT. Even cloud was not known 15 to 20 years back. The word cloud has come. Something new might come, and maybe there will be deviation. But remember, the deviation, whatever it is going to come, this is not going to be without any news. And therefore, this is a very timely effort to arrange the workshop in this line. But I will request all of you to think how we can use the opportunity given by COVID-19 in order to modify this for our use. Now, in this 5 days, you will be learning something, but my advice to all the participants that you should try to give your ideas as well. at the time of lecture by the experts, there will be opportunity for you to raise questions. The questions should be not only in the form of doubt, but also in the form of giving your ideas. In fact, if Balaram, Ghoshal, Sabyasachi, and Asim Panda can give a slot for the participant to give their ideas, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, because it may not many participants will be interested, but let them give ideas, because those ideas can be collected. Ideas can be collected later on, and it is for the benefit of all the 550 participants who are listening this workshop. It is good that hands-on has been arranged. Without hands-on workshop or anything of this type is not of that value. Hands-on is going to give more weightage to your workshop. I wish this workshop all success, and I am sure after 5 days, every one of us will be richer in much richer in this topic. So with this, I formally inaugurate the workshop, and again wish the workshop all success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, as we are going to start our first session, our first speaker is Mr. Shubhankar Chakraborty. Mr. Chakraborty has 15 years of experience into SAP technology, and he is currently working in Moog Industrial, Germany, as SAP Solutions Architect. So I welcome Mr. Chakraborty for delivering his lecture, and before that, I would like to request our faculty member Lipi Begum to give a brief introduction of Mr. Chakraborty. Lipi, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. It is a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our speaker, Mr. Shubhankar Chakraborty. Mr. Shubhankar Chakraborty received the Bachelor of Technology degree in Communication Engineering. Yes, from West Bengal in 2000 as SAP consultant, experience 12 years 5 months. Then T-Data Germany in 2018 as SAP architect. Currently working in Industrial Germany as SAP Solution Architect 2019. He has 15 years experience in SAP technology, consulting and accounting. He also has experience in supply chain management. Today we are privileged to have an opportunity to listen to him. Now I'd like to request Mr. Shubhankar Chakraborty to deliver his lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Lipi.
Hello.
Lipi, madam. Oh, but I hope Mr. Shubhankar Chakraborty is already available with us.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we can start now, Mr. Chakraborty.
Okay, sure. Let me see. Let me try to present my desktop. Moment. So do you see my screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Balaram?
Yes,
Okay,
it's visible.
perfect.
Fine.
Okay, perfect. So I hope you see my screen and I hope you can see me as well. So hello everyone, good afternoon. Well, I don't see any one of you, unfortunately. It's a virtual session, so yeah. Okay, good. So I don't know really who is joining, who is not joining, and what kind of audience I have. So I'm primarily assuming it's mostly students and yeah, some teachers, I guess, as well. Okay, so hello, and first of all, thanks to everyone for inviting me and having me in this session. It's really a pleasure being here. And today I'm going to talk about Industry 4.0, or also known as Industrial Internet of Things, and also from the perspective of SAP. So I'm not sure if you have heard about this software giant called SAP. If you have not yet heard about SAP, then yeah, I will anyhow introduce about SAP in this session. I've got roughly around 1 hour. So yeah, I have distributed or structured my session something like this. So firstly, of course, I would introduce myself. I don't know if you have heard about me or from Balaram, or Balaram is my my friend from my college days. So yeah, but I will introduce myself. Okay. Then I work in a company called MOOC. So I will introduce about MOOC for roughly around 8 minutes, hopefully. So what we do at MOOC, what kind of company we are, things like that. Then I would introduce about ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning. So SAP is an ERP software. So that's what I will kind of give an introduction. What is in ERP about? Because it doesn't make sense to talk about SAP without talking about ERP. Then, yeah, of course, SAP I would talk about. Then I would talk about IoT, Internet of Things. Then Industry 4.0 and IIoT, the context about it. Then how SAP is helping in Industry 4.0. And hopefully we will have some time for question and answer. Cool. So let's get started. So introduction. Okay. So my name is Shubhankar Chakraborty. I am the SAP Solutions Architect at MOOC Industrial Group, or simply also known as MOOC. I have roughly around 15 years of experience in the industry, mostly into SAP technology and consulting, and it's counting. Yeah. So I have experience of working in different industries like CPG. I'm not sure if you know CPG. CPG is basically consumer products, group. And then pharma, then manufacturing, automotive. Okay. I mostly have experience in supply chain management, but I do understand a little bit about other areas like finance and controlling. And yeah, in an organization, you have different departments, right? You have like logistics, you have warehouses, you have finance, you have HR. So my domain or my expertise is especially in supply chain management. With a little bit exposure in other areas like finance and HR. I'm an architect, so I have to know a little bit about everything. So yeah, I'm kind of jack of all trades, probably master of none. Let's see. Okay, what do I do at MOOC? I generally define different strategies, the different IT strategies for MOOC. I've done it previously for other organizations as well. So mostly related to SAP. So SAP, I will explain later, like I mentioned, is basically a software, an ERP software, which helps in, you're running your business. Okay, so mostly related to SAP, I define different strategies, help them to implement them, and yeah, work with the senior management and sometimes with the implementation partners to see how things can be implemented related to SAP. Okay, yeah, I have been fortunate enough to work in the different domains of SAP because SAP is really vast. It touches every sphere of a business process. Okay, so yeah, I've been fortunate that I worked in almost a lot of areas or most of the areas of SAP for the past 15 years. Yeah, effectively manage a lot of business critical and technically challenging solutions. Yeah, and part of a lot of exciting projects, I would say. Some boring projects as well. Life is not always so exciting. So yeah, I've been working in different types of SAP projects, new technologies, old technologies. Yeah, quite a lot actually. Yeah. Then organizations I have worked, I started my career with IBM around, 15 years back. Then I moved on to a company called Entity Data, also popularly known as Docomo in India. Entity Data is I won't introduce IBM because I guess everyone knows about IBM. So I moved on to Entity Data. Entity Data is a Japanese company. Basically, it's the largest telecom manufacturing company in Japan. And also it has an IT division, which is known as Entity Data. NTT stands for Nippon Telegraph and Telecommunication. In India, it's popularly known as Docomo. It partnered with Tata, so it is known as Tata Docomo in India, and they try to invest in the different telecommunication sectors. Yeah. Then last year, I switched to a company, my present company, which is MOOC Industrial Group. IG stands for Industrial Group, also simply known as MOOC. Yeah. So that's overall my organization experience. Talking about brands, so yeah, because IBM and NTT are consulting companies, where MOOC is not consulting, it's mostly a in-house production manufacturing company. So, being part of IBM and NTT Data, I was fortunate that I got this opportunity to work with different brands. Like Nestle or Philip Morris International. I don't know if you know Philip Morris, but I guess you all know about Marlboro cigarettes. Right? So Philip Morris is actually the company who manufactures this brand of cigarettes called Marlboro cigarettes. Okay, and then Firmenich, yeah, not sure if you have heard about it. It's a Swiss-based company which produces different chemicals. So all the perfumes or the scents that we use in different popular brands like Estee Lauder or a lot of other different brands, not the local brands, of course, but the popular ones, the really esteemed brands. The scent, the actual chemical comes from Firmenich actually, some way or the other way. Okay, then a brand like Lundbeck, it's a Denmark-based pharmaceutical company which produces medicines related in a very niche market, like neurological disorder. So if you have heard about diseases like schizophrenia or different kind of neurological disorders, Lundbeck is probably producing those medicines. Then Estee Lauder, yeah, another famous international company producing different kind of cosmetics and perfumes and scents. Nespresso, yeah, the famous coffee maker, or the very elite kind of coffee maker. So you probably have heard about Nescafe, which is a Nestle's brand, but Nescafe is more for like a mass. Okay, it's more for the general common people, but Nespresso is more for it's really expensive, the coffee. So you have to really buy a machine. I don't know how many of you know about Nespresso, but you have to have a special machine, and then you get this like capsule like things which actually has the coffee, and you have to make your own coffee out of it. So as a consumer, you just don't buy coffee, but you buy a coffee machine as well. So yeah, it's mostly for the elite people, and generally, yeah. So yeah, Nespresso. Then of course, I guess you all know this Mercedes logo. So yeah, I work with Mercedes as well. Yeah, about education, well, I was classmate of Balaram, so I did my engineering from West Bengal University of Technology in 2000, from 2001 to 2005 in electronics and communication engineering. But unfortunately, I don't work in the communication engineering domain. You know, I started my career in IT in SAP and been associated with software since then. Yeah, okay. So, well, personal details. Yeah, my name, I already mentioned. Languages like English, Bengali, Hindi, a little bit basic German. I live in Germany right now. So, yeah, I understand a little bit, not much. Then I have my phone number, my work email, and you can also find me on LinkedIn. And yeah, presently I'm located in a city called Stuttgart in the south of Germany. Yeah, it's a kind of in the Alps, you can say, close with the border to Switzerland and Austria and France. Yeah. Yeah, life's philosophy. Yeah, this is one famous quoting from, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. Irving Berlin. So he's a famous American songwriter, one of the greatest, in fact. So he once mentioned the toughest thing about success is to keep on being successful. Basically, it's talks about consistency. So it's not about becoming a hero once a while, but you know, having a consistent performance all throughout your life or that time frame which you're considering. You know. So yeah, that's more or less about myself. What time we are? Let me check. I hope we are on time. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so Moog. Yeah, Moog is an American company primarily, but it's a multinational or an international company. We have kind of 39 locations all over the world. I'm not sure if you have heard about Moog. Yeah, it's not like a very famous company, I would say, because it doesn't really touch your, you know, the end consumers directly. So, you know, companies which we are generally familiar with, like Nestle or, you know, companies which are touch our day-to-day lives, generally we are familiar with those kind of names, right? Like Nestle or Colgate or, you know, but we generally do not hear the names of those companies which are, you know, working in the background, you know. So Moog is such a kind of a company. So if you have ever boarded on a flight like Airbus or a Boeing flight, you know, you have somehow been touched by Moog, actually. So Moog is producing different kind of, you know, like fluid control or motion control devices, okay? So all the, like we have partners like Boeing, or not partners, like customers like Boeing or Airbus in the aircraft industry. So we produce for different industries. So we are mostly a B2B industry or business to business. So we don't directly deal with end consumers because our products are not like that. But we do directly, you know, business with big business companies, like I said, Airbus or Boeing or the US Defense. So we produced a lot of different small components for the US defense, you know, like for the guns or the tanks, right? What America is manufacturing. So we produce some components over there as well. Okay, so you can see some of the pictures like here, so the different products. So this is just one small picture. We have quite a huge portfolio of products which you can find on our website. Moog, you know. We are roughly around $2.5 billion US company. Yeah, right now I think so. We have around 11,000 employees worldwide. Bill Moog, he's our founder. He founded Moog in 1951. So he basically invented this electro-hydraulic valve, something like that. Okay, I'm not into real engineering. So I don't know the real technology over there, but he's the guy who invented this this electrostatic valve, whatever. And yeah, and his cousin brother, he's also very famous. He's known as Robert Moog, and he invented, or he kind of revolutionized, not really invented, but kind of revolutionized the synthesizers. So the music instrument synthesizer you all see today, he was one of the kind of pioneers, to see what you see today, and the kind of synthesizers you see today. So yeah, Robert Moog is his cousin brother. So he invented the synthesizer, and Bill Moog is the guy who founded our company, which is the Moog. Okay. Okay, so enough of talking. Maybe I show you a quick video of what Moog is doing. It's a roughly around 5 minutes video. Okay, by the way, this is the picture of Moog GmbH. GmbH is a we have in India like private limited, so things like that. So in Germany we call it GmbH. So this is Moog Germany basically. This is where I work. I took this picture in this year winter, and this is the European headquarters. So like I said, Moog is an American company, so our headquarters, the overall headquarters is in USA. East Aurora, place called Buffalo, very near to Niagara Falls. Probably heard about Niagara Falls. So yeah, it's not, Niagara Falls is not that far. And yeah, and our European headquarters is in Germany, where I work. It's in a place called Stuttgart, like I mentioned, where I live. Very near to Stuttgart, not exactly in Stuttgart, but like a little bit of outskirts of Stuttgart. And yeah, this is how it looks like in the winters. Okay, this is one of the frames, I would say. And yeah, so there are different videos. I won't go through all of them, maybe just an overview of what Moog is doing, and to give you roughly an idea, because yeah, generally people are not in. So can you hear this? One moment. Can everyone hear this video?
No, the video is not audible.
Okay, that's sad. How can I make the video audible? Is there a possibility? This is Google, right? Is there any way? No, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, just unmute
Okay.
it. Yeah, and increase the volume.
Yeah. No, only I think I can hear it. Yeah, it's too loud of a volume for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and so do you hear it still, or you still don't hear it?
No, it's not audible yet.
Okay, let's then just mute it. Okay, maybe I will quickly go through what the video is trying to explain.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, so as you can see, we are touching like every spheres of life, our products basically, but indirectly, not directly. So yeah, we are talking about mostly about motion control devices. Okay, so any motion control device that you see, high precision motion control devices. Okay, so like the satellites. So we build for satellites as well, some components for satellites. We build for medical devices. We build for all the, you saw an image of, okay, let's talk about the aircraft. So we have like different departments, or, segregation. So we are producing different components for like Boeing and Airbus. So, and even this fighter jets, okay. Yeah. So there are different like G250 and things like that. It's a huge portfolio, but these are just some of the examples. So like helicopters, these high-end helicopters, let's say like that, Airbus, yeah. Yeah. Then we are into space and defense as well, like I was mentioning, mostly for the USA. We do not have presence in other countries, but all the different we supply different components to the US Space and Defense Department. Also, like you see, this rocket. So we were also associated with the Apollo mission. I don't know if you have heard about Apollo, like one of the first satellite missions, to land on Moon. So we were part of those Apollo missions. I have embedded a video in my presentation for that as well. So if you're interested, you can go through that. If you're really interested in space defense kind of technologies. So yeah, so we are supplying different components. Like just to give you an example, when a rocket goes off the ground, it needs a thrust, right? It throws this huge amount of fire, and it needs a thrust to go up to the, to navigate to its path, right? So that thrust that is being produced, those components are being produced by MOOC actually. So yeah, so space and aircraft related components. Then yeah, these tanks. So we are into making a lot of components for these tanks and stuff. Yeah. And tactical missiles, yeah. Security cameras, okay. Not the cameras directly, but some components like this camera is moving, right? So to make a precision movement, those components are very vital, so that these movements are really precise and they don't falter. So those kind of really precise movements are being components are being produced by us. Then yeah, we have the industrial division, which produces different motion control devices for the different machines, different high-end machines, or the windmills, for example. Okay, this is another interesting one that we are making is a flight control simulators. So for example, if someone wants to become a pilot, before really going for a real airplane, one has to go through a lot of trainings, right? And these trainings involve real-time simulation of the environment of how a pilot may face in an aircraft. So we make these kind of machines. Here. Okay, it's gone. It was somewhere here. Anyways, so you need these different machines who actually simulate those kind of environments, to make you feel that you are in a real aircraft. Yeah, this one. Oh. So it basically gives you a real-time feeling of how a pilot might feel like inside, yeah, this flight simulation. Okay. And these are really high precise because you have to create exactly similar, same situation like a pilot will feel in an aircraft. So these are really high precision instruments I'm talking about. Okay, let's move on. Then Formula One cars will produce these very high-end, high simulation machines as well. Okay, then yeah, there are other components as well, like these fiber optic rotary joints, slipping rings in these fiber optics rotary joints. So these kind of instruments are mostly used in the different industries. Then fiber optic rotary joints. Yeah. Yeah, helicopters, flights, whatnot. I mean, anywhere you can think about motion, high precision motion, you can think about MOOC actually. Even in medical devices, yeah. Anyways, I won't go through all of them because it seems like you're not able to see anything, hear anything. Okay, so we have like you saw, we have factories in different locations. In fact, we have a site in India as well. Yeah, it is in Bangalore. We have actually multiple sites in India. So one of them is in Bangalore. Yeah. Okay, so that's more or less what we do at MOOC. And like I said, we were also associated with the Apollo mission. So if someone is interested in going through that video, you can go through it. This is our MOOC's YouTube channel. If you are interested in our careers, then yeah, please feel free to go ahead and watch these videos. It talks about the different type of career opportunities that we have at MOOC. And yeah, like I said, this is real engineering. So if you're really interested in real engineering jobs, high precision, high volume, we are talking about space, right? So it's all about really high precision, highly effective instruments. So yeah, if you're really interested in those kind of jobs, please feel free to go ahead. Okay, so well, I'm not into those kind of engineering jobs. I'm in the IT. So we have our own IT, which manages all our business processes, and I'm involved in that. Okay, that was more or less about MOOC. Let's move on to the next slide. That's about the time. Okay, like I said, I will talk about ERP because without talking about ERP, it doesn't make sense to talk about SAP. So what is ERP? I don't know if you have heard about ERP. But ERP is basically enterprise resource planning. So what is that all about? So yeah, I think ERP started in the 1990s. I mean, not started, but the actual growth started in the 1990s. It's about organizing your enterprise. So your enterprise, when you have like a big organization which is spread across different locations worldwide, international organizations, the challenge is that let's say I'm sitting in Germany, I really do not know what is happening in India. Before the ERP world, let's think about like in the 80s or 90s, early 90s or 60s, 70s, 80s. So, for example, I'm right now in Germany, in the European headquarters, but I don't know what is happening in Italy, or it's not really feasible or possible. It was not possible to understand or see what exactly is happening in a factory which is located remotely. It's in India, or let's say in Italy or in France, So, and we didn't have internet on those days, so it all used to happen over paper and postal services. So or telephone services. So someone will call MOOC Germany and tell us, okay, we had a sales of this much number, these components, or we had, we have received invoices for, we have sold this much products, we have received this much money, this is in our warehouse, this much stock we have in our company, we have these many customers. So all these things used to happen over telephone or letters, postal things or things like that, before the computer world, the whole computer thing started. So it was really not that efficient. Then we had computers, so people started to do it in an Excel, people started sending it in emails, things like that. But then came the world of ERP. So ERP helps you to integrate all these things, all the things happening worldwide. You can actually sit in one location and see what is happening in other location or other part of the world in your organization. You can really quickly get those data and analyze those data and, make some decisions, because at the end you need to make decisions. Okay, my sales is low this year. Okay, so how can I improve my sales? Or, I didn't earn that much revenue this year. So how can I increase my revenue? Or this plant is not working as effectively as it should have worked. Okay, so all that is helped by ERP. Okay, it helps to do that. Okay, so you can do your requirements planning. You can, because at the end, what is a company is doing? It is buying something from someone, then it is adding value to it by it's manufacturing something, and then it is at the end selling something to someone. Okay, it can be an end consumer, it can be a business. Generally there are only two possibilities in the business world. It is called B2B or B2C. B2C is basically when a business is selling directly to an end consumer, like you and me. Like Nestle does, it sells Maggie to the directly end consumers via some vendor, of course, or a distributor. And in our case, we sell directly to some big organizations, like Airbus or Boeing. So it's called B2B. Right. So I quickly show you. So let's take a hypothetical example where there are some farmers in some place. So they are producing something, let's say some crops, let's say some wheat, okay, for Nestle, let's say. And then they're sending this via this distributor or someone, on a truck and sending it to a factory. Okay, so this is, let's say, a factory. So we have two plants, let's say, Nestle. So in this plant, they are producing something what these farmers have sent. So they convert it into something and then send it to another plant. Then the final product is produced here. And then again, that is being, taken by another logistics company or maybe directly by Nestle. And then it is, shipped via aircraft or train or whatever ship to some other part of the world, to some consumer. And this whole thing has an effect on the finances, right? You need to pay the farmers, you need to pay this truck driver, you need to pay for all the employees working in this company, and then you need to pay for this truck and flight, and then you get some money back from the seller, or sorry, the customer, and it all has an impact. So this whole thing is managed by ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay, and you can do it sitting at one place in some part of the world. Okay, so that's all about ERP. Okay, then I won't spend too much time on that. I hope the concept is clear. What is ERP? Then SAP. Okay, so SAP is one of the market leaders. Let's call it like that. Yeah, it is a market leader and the largest provider of ERP software. Resource planning. There are different companies like Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, but SAP is the largest. It has around 40,000 customers in around 180 countries. Yeah, it has a revenue of around how much? I forgot, 7.1 billion. Yeah, cloud revenue only. Total revenue is 27.63 euros. Yeah, for financial year 2019. Yeah, so it's a huge company. Okay, it's a really big company. It's everywhere probably. One of the examples I can give you is I'm not sure you are in Koikali, right? This your college. So I guess the electricity provider over there is West Bengal State Electricity Provider, if I'm not wrong, or even if it is not. So let's talk about West Bengal State Electricity Board. So the West Bengal State Electricity Board uses SAP to manage its transactions and businesses. Okay, it was developed by Wipro, I think, if I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, so all these enterprises and organizations that you see, need to run or manage their businesses using some enterprise application. SAP is one of them, and it's the largest one. Okay, it started in 1972 by 5 people who left IBM again. So IBM is actually responsible for a lot of other organizations, like Dell or SAP. So yeah, 5 IBMers left IBM and they started their own company called SAP in 1972. At that time, it was known as R1. R stands for real time. Like you see, I was mentioning about right now sitting at my position, I can know what is going on in India plant. So that is something called real time. So yeah, real time 1, then real time 2, yeah, then R3, and yeah, now we have something called S4 HANA. Anyways, there's a little bit of details. If you're really interested in knowing about SAP, you can always Google it, and given some sources here as well in my presentation, so you can always refer to those sources. Right. So yeah, it's quite big. Okay, SAP is quite big. Yeah, I spent around 15 years in SAP. Yeah, and I still sometimes, I kind of get lost sometimes, and it's evolving. So as you see, it has any organization, forget about SAP. IBM, it's more than 100-year company, right? One of the longest running software companies, I guess, IBM, or not say software or technology company, because technology, the life cycle of a technology company is not that long. Think about Yahoo. It was so big, when we were like students, and now it's almost gone. Right. There are a lot of these kind of companies. So technology companies, life cycle of these tech companies are not that long generally. But IBM is one of those exceptions. It started, I think, I don't even remember, in the 1900s, and it's still ongoing. Okay, it's more than 100 years for sure. Okay, so yeah, so it needs to evolve. Yeah, so basically any organization needs to evolve, and how it started, it needs to learn, it needs to grow, and it needs to evolve. If you are not evolving, you are gone. You know, just like what happened to Yahoo. Yahoo was also a little bit just kind of a victim of this bubble of 2000, which happened, the IT bubble thing, the IT bubble burst thing. Yeah, but otherwise, anyhow, you know, you need to evolve, and I don't think Yahoo evolved that much. Okay, yeah, let's now move on to our topic for today, which is Internet of Things. Okay. So yeah, what is Internet of Things? I guess you are in this session, so I guess, or I'm assuming that you all know about Internet of Things or heard about the Internet of Things. So yeah, it's basically a network of physical objects that are connected over wired or wireless network and connected to the internet. So a little bit about of history. So this guy called Kevin Ashton, he basically coined this term IoT in the 1999 when he was making a presentation for his company called Procter & Gamble. So I guess you know Procter & Gamble. If you don't know, you have heard about Colgate, I guess, everyone. So Colgate is one of the products of Procter & Gamble. So yeah, consumer products, CPG, again, a CPG industry, consumer products goods. And yeah, he basically was doing a presentation for his senior management about RFID technologies. If you don't know about RFID technologies, basically it's a technology about sending information from one device to another device. For example, I guess these days, you know, if you see your credit card or a debit card, generally those have got these chips, small chips. So those are RFID chips, basically. So, and you know, if you take your credit card and go to a shopping mall like Shopper Stop, and you just swipe your card, right? I mean, you don't, don't swipe, you just touch your card. If it's a purchase, I think less than 2,500, you know, this device at the Shopper Stop, it catches your card, all the details, and then it, you know, it auto pays it, right? So this kind of technology is called RFID technologies, or the full form is a radio frequency something ID, I forgot, whatever. So yeah, so these are like RFID devices. So he was making such a presentation. He's one of the I think the director in the supply chain department. So he was trying to optimize his supply chain processes. And that's where he was excited, and he coined this term IoT. But then it was not that popular in those days. Excuse me, the concept of IoT. I think the popularity came in, 2010 and 2011, when I think Google did a presentation. Google purchased a company. I forgot the name. So the Google purchased a company which was primarily related to these kind of activities. Producing RFID technology related activities. So it started becoming popular. GE started investing a lot in IoT things, and yeah. So it started gaining popularity only in the 2010, 2011, and probably after 2014 it kind of really got this pace. One of the few reasons of it getting popular was that you know, the cost of the sensors was really getting cheap, you know, the sensors, because if you think about IoT, one of the key elements of this whole IoT is about the sensors, right? So because you need to have sensors in all these whatever device you want to integrate with. So let's say you want to integrate your refrigerator, or if you want to integrate your washing machine, or if you want to integrate your whatever, your car, at the end, it is done by a sensor. You need a sensor to detect all the different aspects of your device that you want to integrate. So all these sensors, the purchase, I mean, the cost of these sensors was getting reduced. Also, I think in the 2000s and 2010, 11, the amount of the data handling capability was increasing. Hello? Somebody wants to say something?
No, it's okay. You please carry on.
Yeah. So these things started getting cheaper, and and that's why it was much, it was possible. The revolution of IoT was possible. Okay. This is an example of a smart world. I won't really go through the details. It will take a lot of time, I guess. Okay. Then some of the use cases of Internet of Things, I think this is much important. So there are a lot of use cases that you can invest, or you can, start thinking about. Is about one of the examples is cold chain. So what is cold chain? Cold chain is basically used in the pharmaceutical industry. So you probably, you need some medicines which needs to be kept in a certain temperature, some injections or some medicines that you need to store in a particular temperature. Otherwise, this medicine is, destroyed, or, so those. So you can imagine about a situation or a use case when a manufacturing is producing this medicine in some part of the world and then sending it via whatever means of transport to the doctor and finally to you as an end consumer, this whole process. And to keep the temperature of that particular medicine or injection at a certain range, it's really a challenge. And those kind of supply chain is actually known as cold chain. And IoT can play an immense role in those kind of that kind of a situation. Okay, so basically you are talking about integrating sensors in each level of supply chain. So let's say a pharmaceutical industry company, let's say in Noida. Okay, let's assume that this company is in Noida, and they are producing some medicine. And they are integrating a sensor, a chip, small chip in this packet of this medicine, so that it monitors the temperature, and then it is put into a, let's say, in a truck, unloaded onto a truck in some boxes, and then this truck moves from Noida to, let's say, Kolkata, and then comes to the hospital. I don't know, maybe the Charnock hospital, let's say, and then in the Charnock hospital, you store it in a fridge or somewhere. And then when you go to Charnock hospital to get this medicine, they give you this medicine. Okay, so this whole process, and this is a very simple example which I just mentioned, just from Noida to Kolkata in a Charnock hospital. So, but anyways, that sensor can collect all your data and then send it to some cloud-based application. And then from that cloud-based application, you maybe as a manufacturer or whoever is owning that whole supply chain process can actually monitor and see, whether this temperature, this minimum threshold of temperature was maintained or not. Okay, so that could be a use case. So I think that there are a lot of companies who are actually investing in this particular use case, which I just mentioned, and working on it. But there are a lot of challenges. I mean, this is what I described is a very simple one, but there are a lot of challenges to it. So each individual use case which I'm showing here is a use case is a big use case in itself, and there are a lot of entities involved in it. One of the other examples which a lot of organizations are involved with is smart city. So smart city is imagine a city, like a city in the Hollywood movies, where everything is connected. So maybe your refrigerator is connected, your washing machine, your television. I mean, televisions are already you can already see smart televisions in being sold, right? So yeah, those are connected. Then your whatnot. I mean, think about anything. Everything is probably connected. Your roads are connected. Your traffic lights on the roads are connected. Your cars are connected. So everything is connected to the internet. And someone sitting somewhere is actually monitoring everything and controlling everything. You're like becoming God, right? You're sitting in one place and kind of trying to control everything, right? So you're basically becoming God, right? Human beings will become God in a few years of time, right? anyways, jokes apart. So basically everything is connected. So you can see everything, sitting in one place, monitor everything, and probably generate the next possible action. So there is a very famous example that we used to discuss, when this whole IoT thing started. So think about a refrigerator, okay, or a fridge that you have in a house. Think if it's connected to your internet, and this whole thing is, we are living in this, let's imagine we are living in this world where everything is connected. So you have a fridge, and it knows that how many eggs that you consume in a day. Let's say or how many eggs you consume in a week. So let's say you consume 10 eggs in a week, okay? And once it reaches, so you are consuming 1 egg every day. And let's say when you are on the 8th day, so you're only left with 2 eggs. So basically you need to go to Spencer, or I don't know, Big Bazaar, and to buy eggs, right? So that would be the normal way. So if you are living in a smart world or a smart city, this refrigerator basically will detect that, okay, you have already consumed 8 eggs. So you are left with only 2 eggs. So you need to raise a request to Spencer. So this fridge will automatically send a request to your Amazon, or or whatever, Spencer's, or Big Bazaar, or Reliance, whoever you are tied up with. Maybe you are tied up, and then it will, first of all, it will send a notification to you that on your mobile phone you will receive a notification that, okay, look, you are running out of eggs, so you probably need to buy an egg. So should I place this order for you? So it will give you an option. So let's say you said, yeah, please go ahead and place an order for me. And then this refrigerator on itself will place an order for you at Amazon or Spencer's, and then send the invoice. Then this invoice will go back, will come to you for a confirmation. Look, I have placed an order. So 100 100 INR for that, is the price. Would you like to confirm it? And you confirm it on your mobile phone. And then it goes to your bank, and then the amount gets deducted from your bank, and then the order gets confirmed to Spencer's, and then some guy at Spencer picks up this order, and he then sends it back to you, maybe via robot even. Amazon is delivering with robots these days in USA. So, okay, but that would be too fancy. Let's say some human being, he comes to your desk, to your house, and delivers your egg, right? So you see, this whole process has got this intelligent, smart refrigerator. So it understands what you are eating. So after over a period of time, because of AI, this refrigerator basically will know what are your eating habits, how much eggs you eat, how much fish you eat, how much chicken you eat, or how much vegetables you eat, how much fruits you eat. After some period of time, with the help of AI, it would also know that what are your health conditions. Are you a diabetic? Because your food habits will depend, right? So are you a diabetic, or are you having some other ailments? So maybe you don't eat sweets, or maybe you don't eat something, or they will understand your taste habits, with the help of AI again. So IoT and AI. See, IoT cannot live on its own. IoT is a technology which works in integration with other technologies like AI or blockchain, or the fancy